Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Today we are going to continue working on our spelling rules review. Today's rule is a little bit different. The rules that we've had the rest of the days this week have been spelling patterns, like adding the GE or the DGE on the end of a word, or the TCH or the CH, or the K and C at the beginning, or the J and G at the beginning. And today's rule is focusing on suffixes. So we know suffixes are what? That's right, word parts that come on the end of a word and add meaning to that word. So today we're going to focus on consonant suffixes. Now you'll notice I put a nice underline under the word consonant. I even put an arrow pointing to it because I want you to remember this is the rule for consonant suffixes, not vowel suffixes. So what's the difference between a consonant suffix and a vowel suffix? Right, a consonant suffix is a suffix that begins with a consonant. A vowel suffix begins with a vowel. So this rule applies to consonant suffixes. If you look at all my suffixes, S, L, Y, ness, and less all begin with a consonant. So when you want to add a consonant suffix to the end of a word, the rule is you just add it. You don't have to change your root word. You don't have to double anything on your root word. You don't have to drop anything on your root word. You just add it. So I put a couple examples for each suffix, and I made sure I put an example that had a consonant and an example that had a vowel, and I'll show you what I mean. So my first example for the S suffix is books. Book, the root word, ends with a a consonant, K. Just add the S. Cakes, the root word cake, ends with an E, a vowel. Just add the S. So it doesn't matter if the root word ends in a consonant or a vowel, you just add the consonant suffix. Same with ly. Hardly, lonely. Hard ends with a D. Lone ends with an E. One is a consonant, one is a vowel. It's okay. Since you're adding a consonant suffix, ly, you just add it to the root word. Same with ness. Redness, hardness. Now this one I didn't have an example that had a vowel on the root word, but I just gave you two examples to add ness to. And then less, homeless, boundless. Home ends in an E, which is a vowel. Bound ends in a D, which is a consonant. Both of them, you just add the less suffix on the end because it is a consonant suffix. So this rule is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. When you have a word that you want to add a consonant suffix to, a suffix that begins with a consonant, like our examples here, you just add it to the root word. You don't have to change your root word at all, which makes it really easy. When we add vowel suffixes, those rules get a little bit trickier, and we will talk about those next week. But when you add a consonant suffix to a root word, you just add it. You don't have to change your root word at all. So for today's activity, you're going to go on another word hunt. Now I know these can be a little challenging, but I like a good challenge. So you're going to go look in books you're reading, maybe a newspaper if you have one, magazines, and I want you to find at least 2 words that have each one of these suffixes on the end. So 2 words with S on the end, 2 words with ly on the end, 2 words with ness on the end, and 2 words with less on the end. Now, be careful. Make sure when you take that suffix off that your root word is a root word. So for example, when you take the S off, make sure you have book. When you take ly off, make sure you have the word hard. When you take ness off, make sure you have the word red. And when you take less off, make sure you have the word home. So make sure you take your suffix off, You can box them off just like we usually do. Make sure you have a root word that makes sense when you find your word. Sometimes you might see these patterns in a word and it's not actually a suffix. Remember we talked about that when we learned suffixes? Sometimes there can be these letters, but it's just part of the root word and it's not actually part of a suffix. So go on a word hunt. Again, just like you did before, you can make 4 columns on your paper. You can write the words that you find in a book or magazine or newspaper. Or if it's a magazine or newspaper, you can actually cut those words out and make a collage on your paper. So go ahead and practice adding a consonant suffix and go on your word hunt.